Hi beloveds, I'm Jerome Braggs, and it's time for another one of my biggest aha moments from 2015. So last year, I noticed that when I was in meditation, I did a meditation one day, and one day in my meditation I got a very clear message that I was living in fear, and that the fear that I was living in was holding me kind of hostage, and that this was the year that I was being invited to take a deep dive and kind of freeing myself and moving beyond those limitations that I was putting on myself because I was afraid. And so I began to, I made a commitment that I was going to challenge myself. I was going to do 100 days of facing my fears. And what that looked like was every day I was going to do something for 100 days. I was going to do something that I was going to lean more into something I was afraid of. So when I first started, I did a video talking about showing where I just really showed on that video the scars on my arm. I have scars on my arm, as you can kind of see here. I guess you can kind of see here. And for a very long time, I would not show those scars. I would wear long sleeves. I wouldn't let anybody see them. Because I was afraid in some type of way that those scars on my arms made me unattractive. They made me unlovable. They made me not enough. And that fear ran very deep for a very long time because I've had those scars for at least about 5-6 years now. They came from a surgery that I received. And so the first thing I did was to do a video that, showed those scars, and then another day I would write a blog post about, sharing something about my fears that I hadn't shared or that I was hiding, or then another day, so it wasn't a different fear every day. Sometimes it was diving deeper into the same fear. So for example, it was doing the video on my arm, and then was writing a blog post where I took a picture of my arm and talked about why I was afraid to show it. And then also, I used to always wear long sleeves to my workouts, to my Zumba classes or to my personal training sessions. And I began to wear short sleeves, and just not, I was afraid that, if I was in that space with my Zumba class and those 50 plus people, they were going to say something about it. They were going to notice it. And so I just began to allow myself to experience whatever that was. Like if I was afraid of that, then I began to lean into that. So that challenge was every day I would wake up, and it began to be kind of this guiding system where every day I would wake up and I say, what am I really afraid of? And then whatever would come up for me from that question, I would go and do that day. So one day, if it was that I was afraid to tell my friend this kind of secret that I was hiding, or I was afraid to share with somebody that I hadn't fully healed my body yet, or whatever that case may be, whatever I was hiding or whatever I was afraid of, that was exactly the thing that I would do that day. And so I did that for 100 days. And what it became was that fear became a compass for me. Literally, it became the thing that began to guide my life. So whatever I was afraid of, that was exactly where I would go. It was like I was literally taking out a map and a compass and saying, what direction should I head in? And then the fear was like, this direction, this is where you should go. So you're afraid that you're unlovable because you're not in your body. So we're going to dive deeper into, you're not in the ideal body size. So we're going to dive deeper into that. We're going to go exactly there. You're going to prove to yourself that that's not the case. Or you're afraid that, to show the scars on your arm. So that's the direction we're going to head in. We're going to show the scars on your arm. And so fear became a compass for me. And what the compass literally led me towards, which I wasn't really aware of in the process, I was just letting the fear guide me. Where I was afraid was where I was going to go. And what I realized was that fear is a compass, and what that compass is leading you to is greater freedom and your deepest joy. Because what I experienced by doing that process, by facing my fears, by leaning into my fears instead of running away from them, from what I was doing for several years beforehand, was I had these fears for years, but instead of like going in the direction of the fear, I went in the opposite direction. But this time I was like letting fear be a compass. And what it led me to was a greater sense of freedom and expansion of myself. It was like the bondage and the imprisonment that I was experiencing before began to just melt away. And I literally felt freer than I have ever felt in my entire life. I also became really happy Because one thing that happens when you begin to lean into your fear and you let fear guide you is literally, fear is literally what I'm now understanding, which was my aha moment. It's not, the aha was that fear is a compass, but it's your soul's compass. It is literally the higher aspect, the expanded self, the higher self, the God self of you, telling you here, if you will come here, your greatest joy, your greatest freedom, and the evolution of your life is on the other side of this. So I am leading you, literally guiding you towards. You can literally trust the path of your fear. If you will walk that path, you're literally walking yourself into greater freedom and greater joy and the evolution of your soul, like the expansion of your soul in this lifetime. And that is literally what I experienced. Last year was one of the happiest years I've ever had. It was the freest I've ever felt in my life. And I experienced so much growth, inner and external growth, from that process of that 100-day process of literally letting my fear guide me. And so my aha moment, which is aha moment number 3, is that fear is a compass. And that fear, no matter what your fear is, if you will literally let it guide you, if you will literally go in the direction of your fear and not in the opposite direction, if you will not just, not facing it, but if you will literally face it head on, it's literally a compass walking you into the light. It is walking you into greater freedom, and it is walking you into deeper joy. So you can trust your fear to guide you. Go in that direction, free yourself, and evolve. As always, this is just another one of my aha moments. I hope this serves you in some type of way. I'd love to hear in the comments below how this has reached you, or if this was an aha moment for you as well. As always, I love you. I see the best for you. And until next time, much love.